Hi, it's Jim from Quickpass here, and today we'd like to go over our new feature updates for September the 17th, 2020. First up is the customer dashboard screen. What we've done here is we've created a new right-hand menu to either move some of the functions that were previously showing in the table, as well as add some additional functionality that customers have been requesting. The first step was moving the Copy Agent ID button over to the right-hand menu, and that's where you would copy the ID for that customer for the installation of an Active Directory agent. The second thing that we did is we added a new option to Connect Agent, which means if you want to use that particular Quickpass customer with Active Directory, you would select that option to activate the agent functionality, as well as we also added the option to disconnect the agent if you no longer want to use that Quickpass customer with Active Directory. Similarly, we've moved the Connect Office 365 button that we previously had in the table over to the right-hand menu, and also added a Disconnect Office 365 option, which will allow you to no longer use that Quickpass customer with Office 365 if you no longer wish to. And the last thing that we did is we moved the delete option over into the right-hand menu for you. The other thing that does is not only provided that additional functionality, but created more space for smaller screens so that you didn't have too much stuff within the dashboard itself. The next thing that we did is we added the events menu. You'll notice that in the lower left-hand corner of the main screen. Now, this is obviously a very critical part of the system that we've just added and will also be evolving over time. So right now, what you'll notice is that you can filter by the from and the to date, the status, success, and error, any of your customers, and also the event type. Currently, the events that we're showing there are all our password rotation events, all our events for self-serve password reset and account unlocks, and also IT glue events, which include matching and disconnecting of Quickpass accounts to IT glue password entries. Also, we will be adding in the future some additional features to these menus. So don't worry if you don't exactly see everything that you're looking for at this time. Next up, we'll be adding additional account management events, such as if you're enabling and disabling accounts in Active Directory and things like that. And after that, also we'll be adding a dashboard that will record all the login activity that takes place when somebody logs into our dashboard so that you're able to keep track of those things. Another thing that is upcoming as well in the future that a lot of people are excited about and looking forward to is the addition of the alerts menu. And this is where you'll be able to configure options of what email accounts you'd like to use and what type of events you'd like to be alerted via email for, such as if an agent goes offline or a success or a failure to a password rotation, or other privileged account events, such as if an account was added to the domain admin group and things like that. So definitely some exciting things in store for that. The next thing that I wanted to show you is within a customer. So if I go into a customer here, and in this particular case, I've got both Active Directory and Office 365 with this particular customer. And the first thing I wanted to draw your attention to is in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We previously only showed the Active Directory domain in this section, even if Office 365 was connected. And for obvious reasons, we needed to also add the same thing for Office 365 so that you had both of those two pieces of information so that obviously it's clear what systems are connected to that particular customer. The other thing that we've done in our previous update that some of you may still not be aware of that's important to note is we've added an AD Connect alternative. And what that is that's for end user accounts only, and that's what we call our password sync feature. So if you have connected both Active Directory and Office 365 to the same Quickpass customer, you have the option when you first import end user accounts, whether or not you would like us to sync their passwords between Active Directory or Office 365, or if you're using AD Connect, that's not a problem at all. You can continue to use that method, and in that case, you would use the password sync option as off. Now, in the event that you did want to use Quickpass for the password sync, you'd select this option to turn that feature on. you'd hit continue. You then get the option to select the organizational unit that you want to select your Active Directory users from. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to search for the user that I want to add, select the user, hit add, and then what it does is it brings you to a screen where it's going to show you the users from Active Directory that you selected, and on the right hand side it's going to allow you to then either select or browse through the mailboxes or Office 365 accounts that are from the tenant that's connected. Now you have a few options or a couple of options at your disposal. You can either use the old-fashioned way and drag and drop to one account that you'd like to match to. But obviously if you had a number of accounts that you wanted to do this for, that could become quite tiresome and might take quite a bit of time. So in that event, what we've done is we've added this auto match feature. And the auto match feature, how it will work is it will use the display name from both Active Directory and Office 365 and match the users based on that. The email address could technically be different if you wanted to, as long as the display names match. That's how we'll use that criteria. So what I'll do is I'll hit the auto match button. It'll open up the matching account screen. It will show me the results found. I can then select that and I can click add. And what that will do is that will then import both the accounts and match them together. And it will then show a green dot under both the Active Directory logo here, as well as the Office 365 logo here. Now, the best part to understand how this works is that we're primarily using Active Directory as the single source of truth in this case. The only exception is related to the email address. The email address we're taking directly from Office 365, whereas all the other information that we're actually displaying in the screen, we're taking from Active Directory. Similarly with the password policies, we're using Active Directory as the primary source of the policy, with some exceptions. If the Active Directory policy does not meet certain minimum requirements that Office 365 has, we'll go and automatically update that for you, such as if complexity is turned off, we'll go ahead and turn it on. If the number of characters minimum required for passwords is less than 8, we'll change it to 8. If it's above that, and obviously complexity is on in Active Directory, we won't change those options for you. The other new feature that we've added is once you've matched these Active Directory and Office 365 users together, and you're wondering, well, what is all the information for Office 365 for that particular user? On the right-hand menu, we've added this option for Office 365 details, and you can select that. And it's going to show you the display name, the username, and email address for that particular account that's matched with the Active Directory account as well. And that's obviously useful for those cases where maybe you match the wrong user or you're curious to see that information. That's available to you right now. The other thing that I wanted to mention within the customer screen is some recent features that we've added relating to matching of accounts for IT Glue and their password entries. So if I were to go over to match accounts, previously the method that we had was a drag and drop. And as some of you might realize, that if you had a number of accounts similar to if you're matching Active Directory and Office 365, that might take a long time. So what we've done is we've added a couple new capabilities. One is the auto match feature, which is similar to how we match between Active Directory and Office 365. And then we've also added the ability on the right-hand side here to create IT Glue password entries automatically on your behalf if you'd like to do that. Now that's a particularly important point, especially if there's a lot of pain points in onboarding new customers, so that you don't actually have to, create new password entries manually in IT Glue for all those accounts that you're onboarding. You can actually get Quickpass to do all the heavy lifting for that. In terms of the auto matching features, if I wanted to try that first, I'm going to click auto match here. It's going to go look and see what matches are available. Now the criteria of how the matching works is a couple of ways. If it's an Active Directory account or if it's an Office 365 account. If it's Active Directory, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the username from Active Directory and the username listed in the IT Glue password entry. Now that IT Glue password entry can be for the username can be stored in one of three ways, and we'll consider that a match. Either we're going to look at just the SAM account name or just the ordinary username like you see right now, or it could be stored in domain / username format, or it could be stored in the user principal name or UPN format, which is typically shown as like a username @domain.com. So regardless of which formats it's stored in as the username in IT Glue, we'll pick that up as a match. If we find any duplicates, we'll provide an option for you to pick which one is the correct one. And on Office 365, it is a little bit different. We're actually doing only the UPN username and an exact match only. So once I've seen all the matches and I want to select them, I'm going to check this off. I'm going to click Add, and boom, it's going to match that user to IT Glue, and I'm good to go. Now, in terms of the going back to the password sync feature, this is going to happen when somebody goes and resets their password, either on the domain controller, on their PC, as well as within our dashboard. We're going to pick that up from Active Directory and reset the password in Office 365 and vice versa. So that's just to kind of give you a snapshot of how that works. Going back to the IT Glue matching feature, if I go over here to administrator accounts and click match accounts again, I've got an account here that's not currently matched up to an IT Glue password entry. I can either just hit the checkbox here or hit the all one for select all. And what that's going to do if I do that and I click add is it's going to go ahead and create automatically a new password entry for that account in IT Glue and match it up with my account in Quickpass. So if I go back over to IT Glue and I hit refresh on my passwords, I'm going to then find here in my list the new account that I added right over here. And it's going to also add to the notes that it was created by Quickpass so that you know it was actually us that did it. And then I can go ahead as we do normally. I can go in here and I can rotate that password and have it update automatically in either Active Directory or Office 365, wherever it is, and then update the password automatically in IT Glue after I refresh the page here. And there's the new password that I've got, and now I'm good to go. So that's definitely a huge time saver for you guys right there. The very last thing that we did is we also added events to the event viewer. We already had a number of events that were being logged in the event viewer in our system over here, but now what we've done is we've kind of taken it to the next level. We've added more detailed and advanced logging for every single event that occurs in Active Directory with our agent, from password rotations, resets, account unlocks, notifications that are sent out, and also events that happen with privileged accounts, such as if an account is added to a domain administrator group or if an administrator account is used to log in the system. And these are also things that we will be in the future extending to our events and alerts menu as well to make the product a little bit more useful for you. So that's all I have to report for today. If you'd like more information on how any of these new features work, feel free to visit our knowledge base site at support.getquickpass.com. And if you'd like to find out any more details about the product in person, feel free to give us an email at sales@getquickpass.com, and I'll check in with you later for the next feature update. Thanks.